Welcome to the Journaling Room live with me, your host, Camelle Ilona. I'm here pretty much every Monday, 9 p.m. GMT, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Great to have those of you that are joining. I wasn't able to join last week. My apologies. I had some messages. Why is the journaling room empty? So thank you for those who are able to join. As always, let me know where you're joining from. And today I just wanted to come on and have a conversation about the benefits of journaling. I was having a conversation with somebody just this week, and she was really digging into what are the benefits of journaling. I know it's important. My therapist said to do it. You're always encouraging us to do it, but what are truly the benefits of journaling? And the question was about how soon do you go back and even read your journal? So if anyone has any questions about journaling today, it's one of my favorite subjects. So please do let me know where you're joining from, join in the conversation. So benefits of journaling and how often do you go back and read? So for me personally, I don't go back and read, especially recent entries. Unless I have been processing something and there's some sort of outcome that's happened and I want to see what I was saying and how I was processing, then I'll go back and read it. But I don't often go back and read it. I like to read it on milestones. So because I use the Day One app, I may go back and read it this time last year, this day last year. Where was I at? What was happening? Birthdays or Mother's Day or significant milestones, I may go back and read. And I just feel like maybe 4 to 6 months is a nice kind of time frame to go back and kind of see where you were. It's amazing to see how far you've come in a short space of time by going back to read. One of the other major benefits of journaling is for your mental health. So I know someone who sadly her nephew took his own life. He was only 35. He was the life and soul of the party. The funeral was devastating because people just couldn't understand why. His life was full and thriving, so they couldn't understand why he would make that decision. And it does make me think, and make me want to push this message even more, because maybe there wasn't any one person he could speak to, but maybe having a space that was no judgment, that he could just pour out his heart and the questions and the thoughts. And sometimes our thoughts can feel like spaghetti in our brains, and just having a place to allow those thoughts to land can give us more clarity to then have a conversation with someone, speak to somebody about the things that's on your mind. But what I like about journaling is it gives me the words that are sometimes hard to say. And one of the things I said to this particular lady was, it seemed like her nephew was smiling through depression. And she said, wow, that's a really powerful title for a book, or for a keynote for you. I said, me? To clutch my pearls, like me? Smiling through depression? Actually. And it made me think, and I actually did pen a small book called Smiling Through Depression, available on Amazon, available on my Stand store. The truth behind the smile, from breakdown to breakthrough. And there's a power. I was asked this question a couple of weeks ago about when is the right time to write about what you're going through. And just today I had a conversation, and there's so much power in writing about what you're going through while you're going through it. There's power, let me say it again. There's power in writing about what you're going through while you're going through it. And I can say I've had powerful times of writing and really pouring out while I was deep in a situation. And the power of doing it at the time is it's so rich, it's so raw, it's so real. And when you come back to it and you try to write about it in retrospect, you're beyond it. You've experienced it, you've been there, you've done that. And so you're kind of writing in the overview. You're not able to write in the pain and in the gore and the grit of what you're going through. So there's a real pain in at least capturing what you're going through in the moment, because there's just no writing as rich as when you're going through. And obviously later on you can tweak and edit and do what you need to do, but there's a real power in capturing the moment that is hard. It's not impossible, but it can be hard to capture later on. So again, that's the power of journaling. So it's a powerful tool for your mental health and to help you. For me, it helps me explain how I'm feeling. It helps me to express myself, because I feel like in the journaling, I've already had the conversation with myself. I've already untangled and figured out some of the knots and figured out where I'm getting stuck. And now I'm able to have a fluent conversation because I've already processed. And as I say, journaling, it helps you to think or understand the thoughts that you're thinking, let your thoughts land. It helps you to feel. For me, it helps me slow down and understand, well, how am I feeling and why am I feeling like this? It helps me to process. So now that I understand my thoughts and my feelings, what am I doing with this? And then it helps me to find my flow. So what is that thing that comes natural to me, and how am I flowing in and through this? So again, just talking today about the benefits of journaling. It's a great key and tool for your mental health. It's great for conversation and helping you to kind of speak things through. It's good to go back and read. I don't usually go back and read them like every day, but give me a couple weeks, a couple months, and to have a look through some of those journals, gosh, to see where I was, to see how I was thinking, to see something that was so incredibly overwhelming at the time. And now I'm later on down the line, now it's, 3 or 4 months have passed, and I'm like, wow, look how far I've come, look where I was. And look, I thought the worst was going to happen, and actually it wasn't so bad. So it can be very encouraging to go back and read your own words later on down the line. And the other thing that can happen when you journal is books can be written, books, articles, words of inspiration, but books can come out of journaling. That's my first book, Finding Divine Flow. It came out of years of journaling while I was doing my business. And I was able to pull so many amazing keys. I would journal and I'd be like, that's a bar, that needs to go in my book one day. And I'd probably put like hashtag book or something. So then when I came to sit down to write my book, I had so much content that I was able to, first of all, organize all of these different thoughts and ideas. And then I was able to continue now writing and padding it out. So journaling is a great place to start when you want to write a book as well, depending on what the topic is. If it's more academic, that may not be applicable. But if you're wanting to write your journey, your story, that's a really great place to start. And if you are interested in writing and getting more of your words and inspiration out there, there's so many different places. There's articles that you can pitch. You could be part of an anthology. I did that once, and we've got another one cooking, where you have a group of different writers who contribute one chapter, and then it maybe adds up to 10, 12, 20 chapters of a book. So journaling is a great place to start when you want to write your story. And some people are scared to journal because maybe they've journaled once when they were younger and someone read their journal, and they don't like to keep a diary and things like that anymore. But there's so many different ways now of doing it. Digital journals, I always talk about the Day One app, password protected. So, you get to write your thoughts free flow and not worry about it being found. And the nice thing about that as well, it's almost like my own personal Facebook or Instagram, where it kind of comes up a year later and says, this is what you wrote about this time last year. And again, you get to look back and see how far you've come. So those are some of my personal benefits to journaling. I don't know if anyone has any questions, any thoughts. Just talking today about the benefits of journaling. And I've just been talking about your mental health, being able to look back, and even being able to write a book. Juanita. Hey, Juanita, good to have you on. Juanita said, what's the name of the app? The app is called Day One. I should so have shares in this app. I've recommended it to so many people. I'm nearly at a 2,000 day streak. It's nice because it kind of gamifies it as well. I've got others who are on nearly 600 days. And so, yeah, the app is called the Day One app. Um, awesome. So that's the Day One app. And we've got another question. And that question, Rose, thank you for joining us. You said, do you ever find journaling scary? As in, when you write your truth, how do you process it? Ooh, that's a big question. Journaling, I don't find it scary because it's just me. So I'm writing it and it's only me reading it. I think it would be more scary if it was going to an audience and other people were going to be reading it and consuming it. But do I find it scary? To be fair, it's not the journaling that's scary. Sometimes what can be scary is the initial thought that comes. And there was even a thought that I was playing around with this morning in my mind. And I was like, oh, I haven't thought about that. And so that was kind of scary to process initially. But for me, what was exciting was taking it to the journal, because then I kind of get to get it out of my head and I get to put it on paper. So I don't find it scary to journal and to write my truth. The processing of it can be a journey, because you can kind of get it out and then it's like, okay, what is this saying about me? And again, think, feel, process, flow. What is the thought? How do I feel about that? And being honest about those feelings can be tough, as in, can I really be truthful about how I'm feeling? I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling upset, I'm feeling a little embarrassed, I'm feeling ashamed. Can I be truthful with how I feel? And then how am I now processing this? This is a tough situation. I've taken the time to journal, but now what do I do with it? How do I kind of get unstuck? How do I process? What are my thoughts and feelings about this? What's my attitude about this? How am I going to face this person? How am I going to take this into my life? So yeah, I think it can be scary, but it's worth it, because the only audience in a sense is yourself. So it's you coming face to face with those emotions within yourself. And some people go to counseling and need extra help to even be able to face those emotions. So I think, again, journaling is a beautiful, safe place to be able to process. I hope that answered it. Thank you, Anita. Rose said, sorry, so many questions, but is it safe to journal without having a counsellor? That's a great question. And again, I'm not a counsellor, so please just take what I'm saying. It's just general advice from sister friend to to yourselves. And actually, no, if you're struggling, like the question was, can journaling be scary? It can be. And sometimes, yeah, you do need a counsellor. You do need more professional help to process things, to even unpick things. And sometimes you can only get to a certain place by yourself. And what I find with journaling is it can, and it has for a lot of people, where I go and I do journaling sessions and, ask some big questions, and it's starting to stir some things up. And often people are then like, actually, I think I need additional help. I think I need to speak to a counselor or therapist a little bit more about this. So there definitely are times and places where it's important to seek additional help and advice from a counselor, from an advisor or someone. So I think that's really important. If you're struggling, if the emotions are too hard and too raw, and just difficult to unpick, you may need, a good friend, an older person, someone who's been there, done that, to speak to, or again, a professional counselor or therapist. Latina, it's great to have you on. She says, I'm starting to write a book. Awesome. Because of journaling, right? That's literally what I said earlier on. It's a great tool. Because of you, Camelia. Oh, thank you. I was able to write in one of your magazines. That's awesome. Yes, I do remember. I remember your name from So for those who don't know, I had a women's clergy brand, and during lockdown we had to pivot, and it was like, okay, Lord, what do we do with this huge audience? And so I had just written my first book, Finding Divine Flow. People were asking how I wrote the book, and I was like, journaling. They're like, how do you journal? I'm like, what? And so it's helping people to journal. And then we started Ordained Magazine, a magazine for the women in ministry that I was serving at the time. And a lot of these women began to submit articles. We had over 100 writers. They began to submit articles. So some of them went from never being able to write, never written an article before, submitting the article. And now they're an internationally published writer in our magazine, because it went all over the world. And from there, many of those writers then wanted to write books. And so just had the awesome privilege of coaching people to write, to submit articles. We'd have sessions. You've probably been in some of them, Latina. We had sessions where we would talk about the upcoming theme and what sort of articles people want to write, and they would submit the articles and we would put it together. We did it for 3 years. It was incredible. And many of those writers became published authors as well, many that I still work with today. And yeah, it's amazing. I get to work with so many different writers, some who are just starting out wanting to write a book and got all these ideas and kind of need help. And so I kind of give them coaching and accountability weekly over like 12 weeks to get the book written and done. Others are pretty much there. The book is written and they just need help to self-publish onto like Amazon, for example. So I'll walk them through the publishing process. So sometimes I'm the book midwife and I'm pushing them through to get that book written. And other times I'm just helping them on the other end to self-publish. Had the privilege of speaking with an neuroscientist today, and we're going to get her book published in the next few weeks. So hopefully I can bring her into the journaling room and have a great conversation about neuroscience and the mind and all of that stuff. I find it so fascinating. Thank you so much for that, Latina. It's great to see you on here. Rose first, honesty is important. Absolutely. Yes, you're so welcome. Juanita asked, do you find it easier to handle stuff after you've done the journaling? Absolutely. It's just my place to think on paper, to think out loud, as it were. Sometimes to weigh up the options. What's the pros and cons? What's my why? Do I really want to do this thing? Especially when it comes to making decisions, definitely prayerfully considering. But sometimes you just need to weigh up the options. And I love a list. I love a list. So I'll be listing out maybe pros and cons, why I really want to do this. What do I feel like my goals, my purpose, my mission is right now in this season? And is this thing lining up? And how do I really feel? Do I feel pressured? Do I feel like this is the perfect opportunity? Is this the type of thing I've been waiting for? Is it lining up with the other things that I'm doing that's going on in my life? And so when I finish all of that writing, I do definitely feel like I can handle things more. I can make better, wiser decisions as well through the power of journaling. So Latina says, unfortunately, I lost the magazine. Is there any way I can get another copy? I do have some copies. Feel free to DM me and yeah, we can definitely get that to you. Thank you. She says she loved it. This has been great. It's been great to be on here today speaking about the benefits of journaling. Thank you so much for the questions. Thank you for those who have joined me today. Looking forward to having some more authors in the journaling room with me, speaking about their journaling journey and their writing, their legacy and publishing as well. There's been so many, easily over 50, 60 authors that I've worked with to self-publish their books. And yeah, it's just a real joy. I really, really enjoy the work that I get to do every day, helping people with their writing, have writing coaching sessions, working one-on-one with authors to get their books published. And then even taking it to the next level where people are now really working on their personal brand and getting their brand messaging and their brand story just right so that they can deliver with excellence and they can connect with their people. I think it's so important to connect with your people. So figuring out who my people are, what is my message, and how do I best authentically deliver that message. In fact, there's a lady that I've been working with recently that, again, I'd love to get on here so that we could talk about her journey with my flows strategy session that I had with her. So yeah, lots going on. But as always, I'm talking about journaling, publishing, and leaving a legacy. And it's always great to be on here speaking to you. And yeah, I hope you got some tips. Great to have Latino on here, who's someone who was able to write because of the magazine that I had started. And so, yeah, I hope many more of you are journaling, continuing to journal more. And who knows, there could be a book inside of you as well. So keep writing, keep journaling. And I look forward to seeing you on next Monday live in the journaling room. I've been Camelle Ilona. Thank you so much. God bless.